Everybody. Uh, um, let's see. It says we're in practice. There we go. Now we're started. Um, Welcome everyone. I have an agenda here. If we want to start with, we have proof from last meeting. If anybody who was here wants to move to approve those. Mari, is that you saying yes? Or are you just playing?
Sure, I'll approve them. Yeah.
Anyone want a second? April, I think. Were you here, April? I think so. And April, you're
Yes,
muted.
I'll
Okay,
second.
okay, great. Thanks. Things are gonna go a little slow just because I'm taking minutes real quick. Okay. Right. Okay. All right. So next I have on the agenda waste reduction items. Mara, you want to take those? I got recycling drive, save the sound, transfer station, and school food rescue. You want to start with that, Mari, and
Sure,
anybody else
I'll
want to
go
jump in
through
after that?
stuff and yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, tried to put some information together. For recycling drive updates, I think the main things we want to cover are our special monthly events coming up. So those of you that are regularly helping with recycling drives, I sent an email out next month. It's the Saturday, the 9th, our next drive. So we have the pumpkin compost collection secured with RWS. They've been generous to donate a container the morning of the drive, and so they will be there. I believe we have at least 8 volunteers from the Trumbull Health Department. There's a youth organization, so they have volunteers looking for hours, so they're going to send some folks over to help us out this month, so they can help man that collection container. And then we're working with the former Toshua Toy Drive. The parents from Toshua are like long out of elementary, middle school, and some out of high school, and they're still looking to run the used toy drive. So they partnered with us last year. Ellen, I think that's when we actually first met you at that month, that drive when we were relocated over to Madison or Hillcrest.
That sounds right. Is there information that for posting on that, or is that still coming?
Yeah, to be determined still. We're actually, I was just going to get to that. We actually are, the dads are trying to secure a recipient for all the toys because they just get so many that last year they were kind of scrambling to find a location. So they're hoping to find something so that we can run it. So it's still tentative at this point. But
Okay,
we have the man. Go ahead, Ellen. Yeah.
I just said I'll keep my eyes open for the information.
Oh, yeah. I'll send it over to you. I'll find you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to secure that. And then for people that can't make it that day, we're hoping the health department has offered to be a additional drop off maybe that week leading up to it. And the dad, Jim Sullivan, who's kind of taking the lead still, he said he would pick up the toys each day at the health department. So hopefully we can find somebody. If anyone has ideas of an organization that might be willing to take used toys, that's the trick, right? A lot of places will take new toys. So.
Right.
Welcome to ideas either now or after the meeting. Otherwise, recycling drive is on schedule as usual. Am I forgetting anything, anyone? No. Okay. Save the sound cleanup. Just figured I'd give a quick summary to everybody here. This did go out in the first Selectman newsletter, along with a few other items, but we collected over 200 pounds of trash that day back in September, and we had over 30 volunteers. So thought it was a pretty successful event. So hopefully we'll keep that going annually. Transfer station updates. Okay, so I was hoping Mary would jump on here. She and I have been in touch with George and Jose and the people planning the reconfiguration of the transfer station, and they are still working on the design, and they've been generous enough to include us in conversations as to what additional recycling and or waste management strategies we would like to see at the transfer station. So Mary and I did some legwork. I reached out to quite a few towns that offer mattress recycling currently to get feedback to kind of dispel some of the pushback. our concerns, I should say, with offering the mattress recycling. And we got nothing but positive feedback from towns that are working with the same organization that we would be using. So it looks like that hopefully will be part of the new configuration. Everything, again, still in planning stages. What else? Oh, we are looking at the hosting our own collection site for the plastic film, where we currently can only bring it to Stop and Shop, which Trex refers to as a retail partner. We would be a municipal partner and look to get a revenue source for the town from collecting the plastic. So there's a little bit of a return on investment process. So the town is looking into that as well. We're looking at hosting some boxes with TerraCycle collection as well. I currently house those in my guest room and backfill everything from the recycling drive that we collect each month. So it would be nice to have a additional drop off all month long for people. Obviously needing an education component from there, but just along those lines of recycling collection and TerraCycle, we are seeing, and I think I mentioned this last meeting, a huge uptick in ink collection. Last month, I sent in printer cartridges, just the cartridges alone, $75 one month, which is almost like what we were getting per year a few years ago. So really big uptick. And then the toners, I was able to bring back to Staples and get some packing supplies to mail back our monthly recyclables. So it was a break even. I think I paid $1, April, difference.
That is awesome. There's a reason I go to Staples. I mean, the reason we do that at Staples. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're sustaining ourselves, not to be corny here, but.
Yeah.
So so all good stuff on the recycling front. So the library was a nice option for people since we couldn't offer the October recycling drive. So I did see an increase in volume at the library this past month in collection of items, but I'm sure we'll be busy Saturday. So I will look forward to all my helpers this Saturday. I think that's it for transfer station. Food scrap collection is still being discussed, but to be honest, the towns that I did call about mattress recycling, if they offered food scrap collection, I picked the brain of the Public Works Department or Recycling or Sustainable Contact, whatever their title was at that town. And few people are seeing success with it. A lot of people are not seeing a huge amount of participation, to be honest. And it is a big expense to the town. Food scraps, yeah.
Is that for foods? What is that exactly? Is that like food that's not been consumed, leftover food, wrapped, unwrapped, or is it just like compostable?
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, I use the word food scrap. I mean, it's basically to be composted. So it's the bins that we would look to, curbside compost or RWS to collect. So I think for now, our best bet as a group, if we want to really push more composting, is the education component for people to backyard compost and utilizing RWS for curbside pickup. Because to me, that's even more appealing to the general consumers. Like, again, as I was mentioning, getting feedback from other towns, the fact that people have to separate their, yucky, potentially rotten food and put it in their car and drive it to the transfer station. It's very valuable to those few people that utilize it, but maybe not quite as valuable to the whole community, as much as we as a group think it should be, right? Because we all are such diehard composters and avid, fans of it. So I think there's other avenues that our group can really focus on and move forward with those for now, just being realistic in what feedback we're getting from the town. So does anybody have thoughts or comments on that, or?
As the person who's usually done the composting presentations, if we book something like after the new year, I should have some availability. If you want to be on the calendar before I book out my other secondary job for the district here.
Yeah, sure. That was actually on my list, is the library presentation. So we can kind of jump to that and I'll go back to the school food rescue stuff. But I know Courtney's not on today, but she's obviously our point of contact with the library. And we haven't really just had the manpower to put together presentations. But April, I would be happy to do the recycling one again if you want to kind of roll that out in the winter. and pick 2 different dates. We could look to do that. If we don't, do you feel like it's redundant? I don't think yours is at all on composting. I mean, I think,
I think every time we get some new people or we're just able to further answer some questions that they have.
yeah,
What I would say is
absolutely.
if we're going to go for 2 dates, Mari, if we could get a 3rd date in there closer to end of February, March-ish to kind of, and maybe we could rope Pam in. I'm all speaking hypothetically here to really talk about the pollinator pathway as we still have money left in our grant. And we could do as a springboard for the program in the spring.
Okay. Do you think you might want to combine that with the composting then? I feel like you might get a lot of similar participants, or no? I mean, I'm all.
Actually, I mean, we can, for sure. I just know Pam puts on such a great presentation. You know, she does the same one she did last year. It was so well attended and people really enjoyed it. And then maybe we could, you know, and she was so integral in the grant program of spreading the pollinator pathway in the spring, in the fall, that we could use that as a springboard to what we're gonna be offering and potentially have everything ready to go during that presentation.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good time of year. People are kind of stuck in, having things to get out and do is good. And prior to spring, we could even look to talk to one of the farms about some of we've tried to do that in the past, but when we hit them up during their busy growing season and stuff, it's not so productive. So we can brainstorm, April. That's a good idea. Thanks. And along those lines, and I'll just finish up about library events, but I am always open to ideas. Courtney too. We see the library kind of put on some events that overlap our wheelhouse. And so I let them know that if they have people that are looking to present, you know, there was something with Restaurant Week about, you know, food waste. And I thought we could have at least helped promote it, if not try to piggyback and add a few minutes with whoever was presenting. So we're trying to be cohesive with the library. And make communication open, but all ideas are welcome. So I guess that's it. Does anyone have anything to add on library stuff? No. Okay, so back to school food rescue program. So this has been on our agenda or conversation for quite a while. So we've actually made some progress. So we have a few schools that are actively working to move forward a food donation program with the organization Food Rescue. So most of you are probably familiar with Food Rescue. I think we've talked about them at previous meetings. If you're not, just the Reader's Digest version is they help coordinate food donation from any food service operation, schools, restaurants, that have surplus food that is still edible that can be donated to social service agencies. And they help coordinate volunteers, which any of you could sign up to be at any time, whether it's through Trumbull Schools or any of their many other food service operations. And so, yeah, it's a great opportunity. And the schools were noticing that there is, particularly at the elementary level, because there's requirements of components that the students have to take when they purchase school lunch, there's a lot of extra items that don't get consumed. So we are coordinating. I have a donation for funds to purchase a mini refrigerator at each school. So Daniel's Farm has received their money and are looking to purchase the refrigerator. They're kind of coordinating in-house. Ellen, you've been wonderful. Thank you with all of the support on the brochures and signage so that students can very easily see what perishable food goes in the refrigerator, what non-perishable food goes in the box. So it's very clear what's accepted and not accepted. And we are still working with Jane Ryan, Madison Middle School. And I hear through Food Rescue that the high school is looking to add this as well. So I haven't connected with them yet, but I'm offering to be the support to fund the refrigerators for them and all of the support materials that they might need. Yes, April.
Sorry, one question that came up at PTAC, because we talked about this the other night about the across the different districts, is that they just wanted to be clear that the staff cannot be the ones putting the food into the refrigerator, that it had to be the students had to take it off the line. And once they had it in their possession, they were allowed to donate it.
Correct. Okay, that's what I understood as well, that the
Okay, I
school
wanted to make
itself.
sure I gave the correct information, and so we're on the same page. Beautiful.
Okay, okay, good. Yes, because there's, I guess, strict guidelines. The food can't go back to behind the house, and any employee of the school cannot donate the food. It has to be a student, right, April? Okay. Um, yeah, so, okay, so what else about that? What else do we have to, Ellen, so yeah, I know we left off with, I kind of was going back and forth. Should we get a school up and going and then kind of tweak the materials that lay out? If you want to be the school lead at a school that hasn't agreed to sign up with us yet, or with Food Rescue rather, should we have this whole, you know, information packet of what is involved? If somebody's in the PTA saying, oh, this sounds kind of interesting, what would my role be? Well, if you're going to be the PTA school lead, this is what your role would be, and it maps out what is involved. I'm wondering if that might be helpful to some of the schools that are just looking to get involved, just to clarify. So I think, Ellen, maybe we should go back and kind of fine tune that a little bit, at least if it's a starting point to share. So
Yeah, I'm ready when you are.
yeah, I know. I kind of got, I got stuck on a few of the last steps with how the food is getting packaged up and transported out of the school, because I feel like that's kind of an individual decision of each school. So I was like, let's just kind of get one going and see how it goes.
Let's just, you
but-
and I schedule a quick call just to go through those slides, because some of the questions had follow-up questions.
Perfect. Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, I'm very excited that this is moving forward. I feel like this is a big project for our group for the fall and winter, to see as many schools as we can get on board. So I think once we get a few going, my game plan is then to reach out to other school contacts, but I'm not actively pursuing them for just the volume of juggling everything at this point. But
Sounds good, Mari.
April,
Could
for
you
sure,
tell
if you
me,
hear anybody.
sorry, could you just indicate which schools you're working with, which ones have agreed or have purchased already a refrigerator? Daniel's Farm, you
Yeah.
said, has already got one?
Daniel's Farm is really the main one that's on their way. They've I don't know if they've purchased, but they've received their donated funds. We have Jane Ryan looking to get the program approved. Madison Middle School is still working through the approval process, but they have positive feedback so far from principals at both of those schools. And I just heard through the grapevine from Food Rescue that the high school might be interested as well.
Cool.
So.
And for Daniel's Farm, have you thought, what's your preliminary thoughts as far as where the food goes? Does it go usually to like the Trumbull Food Pantry or somewhere else?
Well, that's where Food Rescue comes in. So they do all of that coordination. So they,
Right.
as you know, Kevin, from their app, they basically load it up as one of their scheduled rescues. And I believe they have it going to the Trumbull Food Pantry at least one of the 2 days a week. They're looking, the schools, I guess, would look to do about a 2-day-a-week rescue. So things could sit maybe Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday would be the second. I think given the hours at the Trumbull Food Pantry, they might not be able to take every single
Friday.
donation.
Yeah, they can't take, they're not open, right? I don't think they're
Fridays,
open
right.
Friday for a collection.
I think they're Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So
Yeah, I think you're right.
yeah, so I think they have another social service agency nearby that would be the recipient. I'm not sure on that for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because Food Rescue sometimes has you bring it down to, Bridgeport here or there. So there's few different places that they
Correct. Yeah, anytime
Yeah.
we can keep it in Trumbull, I think that's the goal. So
Sounds good. Yeah,
Um,
that's exciting.
so that's all I have, except not on the agenda, but maybe part of the transfer station. I was going to see if Cindy's on. I saw she sent an email about the Big Bellies. I was just looking if we had an update on the progression on that program. I don't know if she's on. Oh, yeah.
Hi. So
Cindy.
this is
Hi.
Cindy. So I wanted to be able to give an update, and when I looked back at my emails, the last I saw was Dimitri was going to confirm the placement of the bins. And I did not see a follow-up or an answer on that. So if we're going to have 2 bins that are stuck together side by side, and if they're up against a wall or a fence or something where no one will see, then you would just need a panel on each side and then the two front panels. But if they're separated, or if you can see them from behind, then we might want those additional panels. So I just want to make sure we know exactly how many we're doing. That was the last I saw. And you were going to work on some messaging?
Yeah, we can. We just need to know, yeah, the sizes and like kind of what the general direction is. And
Yep.
then,
Yep.
Ellen, I'm hoping you'll be available to help us with some of the graphics for the sides of the containers, if you like.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
hopefully, if I can get that information, well, you're on the email, so you'll see if George
Okay.
hits reply all.
Perfect.
Where are those supposed to go, those big bellies? Do we know yet?
I think is it Tate Road?
Okay.
That's what I thought. I thought originally George said maybe Tashua, because there's no trash up there with all the pickleball going on and the volume. That would be another spot, but I don't know for sure. That's why I was just looking to see what's kind of been solidified since we last talked about it.
I'll ask him about that, just so we know.
And we're talking about how many containers?
I
Do we know?
think we're just starting with 2 to see how they go.
Okay.
Is that your
Is it-
understanding, Mari, or are we going to do 2 sets of 2?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's what I was looking to get
Two.
a little more.
April
It's
says
been a few
2.
months. Yeah. Okay. That
I
sounds
think
correct.
one set of 2 side by side.
Is one garbage and one's recyclables, or what's
Yes.
that? Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Oh, Janet, do you have a question? I see a little hand.
Yeah. I mean, these are all wonderful actions that you guys are doing. And I think I'm in an age cohort perhaps that doesn't get notification about this. That may or may not be true. You mentioned that does Vicky send this out in her newsletter that these initiatives are going on? Is the town website the only source apart? And the website, the sustainable website, is there some other way maybe to? I mean, I'm getting the feeling that this is involving younger people. I don't know, if you're looking to drum up more interest from different populations within the town. I don't know, but I think it's just amazing what you're doing with the resources that you have. So, but I'm not hearing about it, and my neighbors are not talking to me about it, and whatever. And they're older folks.
Well, I'll respond to that, but maybe Ellen, too, you want to add. But the newsletter Cindy puts out once a month from the First Selectman. So I don't know if you're not subscribed to receive that.
I
That's a question.
am.
Oh,
I don't know that I'm always getting it, and I don't know that I always read all the way through it.
And I could use a sustainability item or a couple each month, or what,
Yeah.
I'd love to be putting that in. But
Yeah.
so if
I
you
did
wanna-
send you this month, right? I sent you those 3 items, the updates on the November recycling drive. I sent you the pollinator pathway update from the fall sale and the cleanup. So I sent that to you like over a week ago before the
Okay.
deadline, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't see the
Thank you.
newsletter go out yet. Did it go out?
No, it's
Okay.
gotten a bit derailed, but it any day. Let me
Yeah,
see.
so if you
Yes,
can just
yes,
email
I
me
got that
before
from you.
yeah, okay, good. Yeah, as long as you email me before, I'll make sure I get the updates. So yeah,
Great.
Janet, that should be accessible as an email source. I know we do hear that we do a lot via social media, like Facebook groups for the events, and a few people at our in-person events do say they don't use social media. We try to add things to the town website, any upcoming events. I did put the pumpkin composting on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't, if you have ideas, Janet, aside from what we're doing to make the messaging clearer or more accessible,
I'm not
that's
sure.
kind of been a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, the farmers market seemed to be very well publicized, and I'm just wondering if there was something in the way that was done that maybe made it so prominent. I'm not sure, but a lot of people are aware of that. And I don't know if it's the physical space that's also available with the signposting outside. So that's an advantage. I don't know the answer. I'm just thinking that there's a cohort that maybe is not getting tapped for, all these activities. And I think, for Vicky's letter, I think you have to sign up for that, right? You don't get it automatically. You have to
Well, all
register.
of the town notifications, I wonder if there's a way, I hope nobody hates me for suggesting this, but if there's a way to send out a message to people to encourage them to sign up for notifications. Because I know like when I do, like when we have I think even the recycling drive just came up as a town event on the calendar. I just got an email saying there's a town event coming up, the recycling drive. And that's not only because I'm on the sustainable team, but it's because I subscribe to the town events calendar. I subscribe to the general town e-blast. I subscribe to the police, right? So there's like various different messaging. So I think the more you sign up for, the more notices you get, and if hopefully they overlap, right? But
And-
how could we get people to know to sign up in the first place, right?
Well, we
Um,
did when we started the newsletter, we used a mailing list that I think it was people that had asked for general town updates. We already had a filled quite a large mailing list that we used, and people could sign up specifically for it. So it goes out to probably several thousand subscribers, which is
Oh,
good.
good.
Out of how many? I mean, do we have 13,000 households? What do we have, Cindy?
Something like that, a little less than that, I think, but
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah, it's to a certain extent, it's a sign up.
Mhm. Yeah. So there's untapped potential. The question is how to mobilize it. Food.
Can I just ask a question, Janet? Are you connected at all with the senior center?
With the who?
Senior center?
I'm not. I'm not at the moment anyway. Not at the moment, but who knows? That could be in my future.
No,
Well,
I was just thinking like if you're talking about like a generational people who aren't
Right.
on Facebook that
Right.
we spend a little time at the senior center, or somebody does, not me, I don't have that time. But
Yeah.
to kind of
Right.
get more people to sign up so they get that information to hit
Yeah.
that population.
Right.
Outside of going door to door and asking people to sign up. I mean, I don't want to say, but at some point it's people's responsibility to get the information that they want.
Sure. Sure.
Right.
Some people don't know what they don't know, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I get your point.
That's a good idea,
I
April.
can,
Yeah.
I can see if Michelle would be willing to send the I don't know if we could make that work, if we could send it out to her email list. But I print paper copies that I send to the senior center and to the library, and we put them out here at town hall too, for people just to pick up if maybe they don't know it's there or they don't know to subscribe. So that's another way of trying to get it out to people.
Mhm. Okay. I mean, I might have time opening up, a number of months from now. We'll see what happens.
I think
And
since we're
Mark-
talking about printouts, sorry, I'm cutting you off, but we're talking about printouts. One thing that might be beneficial is kind of like a gateway introduction to sustainable Trumbull is the list of items that's accepted at the monthly drive. If we printed those out and put them at locations like the senior center, the library, places that people can grab it, because a lot of times people will drive by the drive, they're there for whatever reason, they're like, oh, what do you accept? And you tell them to go to Facebook to look at the list, and they're like, I don't have Facebook, I don't go on the internet. So I think that physical hard copy that they can grab somewhere would be helpful.
They're very eye-catching too, which is nice. So
Are those lists in our drive, ladies?
yeah, Ellen made really eye-catching like graphics. I have some printed still from when I did presentations in the spring. Maybe Thursday when I go over to the Trumbull Food Pantry, I can pop over there. Or Cindy, if you want to introduce me to the point of contact at the senior center, I can try to bring some flyers up and then ask you to print additional ones if we run low.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's a good one, Ellen, I think. Or we have that double-sided, what we call it the wish cycling, right? It's like a general recycling on one side with all the Trumbull specifics. But I feel like, unfortunately, sometimes graphics that have been seen before get glanced over because people are like, oh, recycling, I already know what to do. When really it's newer and it's not the same old, but I don't know. I'm open to whatever. I could bring both. So you guys just tell me what you think would be the best.
I think even if you have the same thing printed in 2 different ways, it takes the average person 7 times to see something research-based wise in order for them to actually recognize it and input it into their brain. So the more ways we have it, the better.
Right, right.
All right, what's
Is that
next?
all on that? Are we covered that? You think?
I think we're good. I don't have anything else.
All right.
April, did you want to wrap up about the pollinator pathway, like a quick overview, or?
Sure. You know, Pam's not here. She's no longer an official member of our team, but major kudos to Pam for really doing a good chunk of the work with me behind the scenes, working with Dave over at Wakeman's. And Janet showed up and spent some time with me in that cold. We have much better weather now, Janet, than we did that day when we were handing out plants. But everybody 52 people who signed up, really were appreciative of what they got. They are looking forward to potentially us doing something in the spring with some different options. I think the in-person signups went a lot better than trying to do anything online. The online piece got really kind of fumbled because there was 2 parts that people had to QR code in and do things. So it's just going to be making ourselves more available to do that in-person kind of sign up, but that worked well. And Dave this is something that's true and dear to his heart. So he's more than willing to partner with us again in the spring. Though, you know, the fall is a better time actually to plant. We just don't kind of view it that way just yet, but all good things. We have money left in the grant. We plan on using it. And so I'll start tackling that after the new year.
April, did you say there was 52 people signed up for, what was it specifically that they did? Did they buy native plants?
Pathway and received 6 plants each.
6, okay, nice.
Oh, sorry, 9 plants each.
9.
That they can plant to help create and build that pollinator pathway at their house. So that was really cool.
So April, a question from sustainability, from Conservation Commission, and everybody's excited about what you accomplished. But in the spring, if people have already signed up for the pollinator pathways, if they already have their medallion or whatever you call that, will they be able to receive plants in the spring?
I think we could probably figure out something with some sort of donation, even if we take that money and able to give plants to people who maybe can't afford it. You know, we could probably look to do something like that. So that's a great thing because we did have 52 people and they might be interested in adding more. And so, and we have people in town like myself that already have, you know, the pollinator pathway. So that's definitely a great point for us to consider. And how can we, some way or shape or form, you know, whatever, get them, you know, the next set of plants that we're going to put out there that are hopefully different from what we already did.
Hey, April, in the spring, can we have people send photos of their pollinator pathway sign with flowers behind it just to kind of help promote it for the next generation?
I don't know if they'll be blooming by the time we kind of put this into fruition, but as we move forward, yes, absolutely. Because they might not bloom until like later on in the year.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, 100% though, Ellen, that makes a great sense for us to put out and ask people to start to take some pictures for sure. Love it.
We did a project here around the lake using native grass and flower seeds, and we got blooms coming out now from seeding in the summer. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. Very loosely prepared soil, sowing a ton of these seeds. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
just amazing. It looks just incredible. And that's pretty quick for native plants to show up within the same season. I mean, it's like, well, I mean, we've got the climate changing, of course, and there was a lot of water and what have you, but I mean, it's really unbelievable to get such quick response. And we did that also with some of the grasses that we planted at the PLA. Unbelievable flowering. They went from like, little 6-inch jobs to 15-inch, 16-inch, 18-inch plants, all in one season. Never happened to me at home, but it happened when the soil was really good for these small plants. So it'd be interesting to get some feedback from people. They might have done well, who knows, but it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if we would offer native seeds to people. We'd have to get good source.
Probably definitely can. We just gotta figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm open to try anything, and definitely new stuff. You
Right.
know, like we kind of targeted one thing, and now maybe we target something a little different, but within the pollinator pathway,
Yeah. Great job, you guys did.
Yeah, really good job.
All right. Dean, was there anything else Conservation Commission wants to report or request or anything?
Well, I'll just tell you a little bit about our latest meeting. We actually had a long meeting with the folks who manage the Easton Reservoir forest land, and I guess they're required to talk to the towns where the land is. So we're one of the three, and so it's very, very interesting. They're developing their management plan for the forest. So mainly we just listened, but trees are definitely on our agenda, and what we're working on right now is to develop a way to have street side tree planting in Trumbull, and there's a system in place in Fairfield where the resident pays a few $100. The town plants the tree, but the resident has to make a commitment to water the tree and take care of it, to get the tree established. So we're not there yet, but I think once we can work with Dimitri and the town, I think there'll be some maybe in the next year or so roll out a plan like that. In the meantime, the trees that are going in are, you've probably noticed at Twin Brooks Park, and we will have another batch of trees this year, so they're working on that. Don't think there's a lot more to report from conservation.
What about the invasive removal project or concept of a project?
Yeah, so so the main thing I need to do at this point is to find a way to get with Dimitri to find out if there are dates that won't work for him, or and if he would designate places where he wants us to work. But I have a Boy Scout troop, and then also interest from the Ag Science department at the high school to provide volunteers who can help with that. So now we just need to find the date and the place. The Ag Science folks, though, they wanted from me an assurance that there'd be adults like with the kids, and so it's like, oh, I didn't think of that. We can't just let kids go with sharp instruments. But anyway, got definitely some more organization to do on that, but hopefully this winter we will attack some of the vines.
There are people here who work with the schools. I don't know if you've got any advice or thoughts on how, if anything crops up in your thinking about working with with school kids and stuff? Because I know some of you have experience more than certainly I do. Probably Dean too. So any thoughts at all?
Yeah, I mean, Marie had a contact. I'm not sure if that came through or not, but we
Oh.
did have an email a couple of months ago about that, I think.
Okay. Okay.
So if you email, there's a particular secretary at Trumbull High, and I don't know who that person is off the top of my head, but if you call the main secretary at Trumbull High, she could let you know. But you could get, if you're looking for volunteers on in the announcements at Trumbull High, and there's a volunteer board for kids who are looking to volunteer.
Right.
That's one path if you're looking for high schoolers, and that's probably a little bit better than middle schoolers or elementary school kids, just the scope of what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, April, I reached out to that person that used to post for us and she didn't get back to me. I don't know if she no longer works at the school. So it was going back over a year. So I should try to find somebody for the group to utilize as a contact for various things. But Dean, as I mentioned earlier, the Trumbull Health Department has a group of students that look to do various community projects that are, health related. So I think that would fall in the wheelhouse. So I can connect you with the contact at the health department for them.
Sure, that'd be great. Yeah. But
I
again,
forgot about your request.
yeah, again, I need to make sure there are enough adults in place, so that if like 10 or 15 kids show up, that it's there's adequate supervision.
All right, good. I guess the only last thing I have under on the agenda is to set up our meetings, dates, times for next year. So are we looking to stay virtual? Do we want to, I don't know if we want to vote on that or what, or just, does anybody not want to do virtual? Oh, good. We'll just stay virtual then.
Yeah.
And then
I think the quarterly works fine. I would just say I think we should do one in early January if we're going to do some library events, and then one maybe in March again, rather than actually do it every 3 months. I don't know if that's possible because we want to probably meet before April, which tends to be our busy month with the cleanup and Earth Week. It just seems like everybody wants us to help with things. That would be my request. And then maybe like we can meet late summer again, or, kind of.
Yeah, that's what we did last year, I think, right? It was January, I think it was April 1st or something. And then
early
August,
April.
and then today. So something
Yeah.
along those lines. What days? I don't know how we do this by acclamation here, but Monday's still best for people, Mari, April, yeah?
I would say yes, but I'm flexible, but
What's your time? You
maybe
like
we
3 or
can.
3:30?
Yeah. April, I'll let you pick 3:30.
3:30 usually works better.
Yeah. Do we want to maybe do some, I have to jump off in like about 2 minutes, so I don't know if
Oh,
we
yeah,
want
that's
to
right.
pencil the dates or if we want to do an
We could-
email with
Yeah, maybe we
tentative
just do an
dates. Maybe
email
we
and,
should look at this.
yeah, you want to do an email and get everybody's feedback?
Yeah, maybe we should look at just like making sure we don't cut into April holidays. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
If it's a long weekend, like there's a lot of things to look at. I should have done that ahead, but I think if we're all on board for those for like kind of general timelines, we could circulate and see if anybody has an objection or identified a reason it doesn't work that somebody else missed, that sort of thing.
Yeah, because we have a couple
Does that
people
work,
not
Cindy? Do
here
we have a
too, so-
deadline?
You just need to post your schedule by the end of January. So
Oh, okay.
you have time.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, you could, if you're going to meet in January, I guess you'd have to just agree by email to when you're gonna meet, and then you could vote on a schedule if you wanted to in January and get it posted by the end of January.
That sounds like a plan. Our first meeting last year was January 8th, so we could do an early January, and then we can confirm the meeting date. We'll get them organized ahead of the next meeting and just agree at the next meeting to go ahead
And
with
you
that
you can
schedule.
discuss logistic things like, who's available to meet, and you can do that by email. Just don't include any substantive committee business, and you'll be
Right.
good.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, I have to jump off. I think we're pretty
I think
close
so.
to wrapped up, right?
Does anybody else have any other new
One quick
business they
thing.
wanna
I
jump
know,
at? Yep.
I know it feels early, but we're approaching the holidays. If you guys have anything that we can post as a sustainable tip, like reusing gift bags type posts that I can put on Facebook, just shoot me an email and I will make it happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ellen, we should utilize that more. That should be one of our agenda items to feed you social media post ideas. I know I try to when I see things that I'm like,
Yeah, no,
whoa,
yours
this
are
needs to
great.
be but yeah, if anybody else in the group has ideas, I feel like we'll talk about that Saturday too. Maybe some of the people at Recycling Drive too want to start sending ideas too. I think that's a good.
Yeah, I would love it. More the
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Thank
I'll
you.
spend some time too.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody.